Good evening. It is Wednesday. It's a relaxing day for me because I am home. I am Dr. Connie Stapleton, and I am here tonight to do Food Addiction Fair and Firm. Hey guys, so glad you're joining me. Happy to see you. I am excited to be here tonight. I am happy to be home. I got to see some of my grandbabies on the way here tonight. So I'm just all of a sudden feeling very relaxed. So tonight, got a great topic. One that we all deal with. Hi, Kathy. Hi, all of you. And that is denial. Denial as part of our food addiction or any addiction, right? Denial, the thing that says, oh, heck no, not me. You're not talking about me. And where denial comes from. So before we do that, I would like for, hi everybody, everybody to, if you feel like it, write down an example of ways that you use denial in your life. And then we can talk about where denial comes from and the purpose of denial and the thing that denial prevents us from in terms of addiction, right? We're talking about addiction. We're talking about food addiction here. We're talking about recovery. And I will tell you, if you're thinking right now about ways that you do it, that you use denial, look at my friend Dawn. She's in Augusta. Oh, Debbie and Buddy. Yay, cool. And here I am in Atlanta. Hi, everybody. So glad that you guys are joining. So anybody use denial in their addiction or at work or in your family? Or do you use denial? Anybody? I have control over my cravings for carbs. Way to go, Michaela. Good one. That's denial, right? Justify others' behaviors. Excellent. Right? Make excuses. You deny that other people did things. Oh, I like that. I'm just going to go with those two examples to start with, okay? And the purpose that they serve, right? So if I say I have control over my craving for carbs, the purpose of that might be because I don't want to acknowledge that I'm out of control, right? Protects me from the reality. If I justify others' behaviors, it protects me from the reality that maybe what others are doing isn't worth justifying. It's not really justifiable. It might be really inappropriate, but I don't want to acknowledge that because then I'd have to do something about it. Thank you for those awesome examples. Denial, self-preservation. Thank you, Lisa, because that's exactly what it is. I deny how much I actually eat. You know, that's such a common one, right? I really don't eat that much until we start writing down every bite that goes in our mouth. And then it's like, wow, I don't want to be aware because denial protects me, helps me self-preserve. I don't want to feel that way. I would be saying I don't have denial would be denial. Absolutely. I love that, right? Anybody who thinks they don't engage in denial is engaging in denial. I totally buy that. That is so true. What I eat or how much I eat or don't eat. Exactly. I mean, I would like to pretend, I would like to be in denial about my love of sugar. I would like to deny how much sugar I actually eat. But it's a reality. And denying it is not going to change the fact. And it's not even in my inner self. I can't lie to myself about that. I know the truth, right? But the more denial I pile up there, the more I have to fake other things in my life. So it prevents me from truly being in recovery. Because if I don't acknowledge something, I can't change it. So the little thing that I put up today with the arrows of denial and acceptance, if I deny something, I don't have to deal with it. And what's addiction about? I don't want to deal and I don't want to feel. But if I acknowledge and accept something, then I have to deal and I might have to feel. I deny not being a little crazy at times. Good for you. I love that. No, I love that you're acknowledging that denial because I think we're all a little crazy at times, right? So, way to go, you. Hey, everybody. So glad you're all joining us. Okay, so I think we can safely say that we all engage in denial about some things. But here's the tricky thing about denial. Sometimes it gets to the point where we buy our own bullshit, right? We believe what we're saying, and that can border on what's that psychological term that I can't think of right now because I just can't think of it. Where we actually start to believe it. So yes, denial is totally a protection, and that's kind of where I wanted to go to tonight, because I want us to acknowledge that need for protection, right? That's unhealthy. It's unhealthy if we really want to heal. It's a natural instinct, right? We want to protect ourselves. We have so much shame and guilt anyway, right? That if we take away the shield, the protective layer, the denial, the safety screen, then oh my God, I'm going to feel even worse about myself. The thing is, though, if we acknowledge it and let it be real, whatever it is, then we don't have to fight it anymore. We spend so much energy and time and effort protecting our lives, protecting ourselves from our own feelings, that we prevent ourselves from putting that energy into the healing process. So one of the things that we can do together with each other and for each other is to be honest enough, not to point the finger and be nasty and critical, but to say, let's do the denial game. One of the ways that I that I engage in denial is blah, blah, blah. And if we had 12 people in a group doing that, yes, pathological is true, but that's not the word I was thinking of. It's it's where you actually believe it and it's not true. Anyway, I just can't think of it. I'm gonna get there. All right. Then I'll have to feel. That's right, Bunny. Then you're gonna have to feel. But what you don't have to feel is more shame and guilt. What you can feel is freedom. Freedom that says, that waving the white flag. I'm not running from this anymore. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I eat more than I say I do. I hide food. I don't write everything down on my food log. I act like I don't have a problem controlling my carb intake. I do. It's just like saying, you know what I do? God, the relief. The relief. Because if denial is in one direction, but acceptance is in the other direction, acceptance is going to lead us to change. And when we accept something, we let it be real. It's like a kid, right? Did you throw that ball through the window? I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I did it. And then the tears come and the feelings happen, right? And then we get love and reassurance. So it frees us up to heal. Oh, I'm so glad you needed this, Gail. You give me the name and voice to my issue, right? I can address now that I know what it is. And I want everybody to really be compassionate with themselves as you are working through this, because it is a protection. And we are all very, very vulnerable people. And we wouldn't have the need for denial if we hadn't been hurt and felt like we needed to protect ourselves to be safe through our lives, but we're adults now and we don't need that anymore. It's like holding on to something that no longer has any value to us. So it's time to let it go and move into acceptance. Awareness is the first step of change. Acceptance is, yeah, this is true. Now what do I want to do about it? Because now I have a choice. I don't have to spend all that time, effort, energy pretending. Denial. And this goes back to the making excuses for other people, right? In my family, we are laden with addiction. My mother, God love her, wanted to pretend that it wasn't that bad. It really was, it just wasn't that bad. And she's really doing better. And don't you think that, her drinking is much less, really? I know it is. How the hell would you know? You haven't been there for 7 years. Whatever. But I quit playing that game with her. I wouldn't argue with her about it. I won't argue with my siblings now who say they drink so much less than they used to. Good. That's great. I'm excited for you. And yet your drinking remains a problem, as evidenced by, right? So I'm not playing the pretend game. I'm not going to play the pretend game with myself to the extent that I'm capable at the moment. So in the moment, I might be feeling really scared and put on the spot and vulnerable and whatever. And so I might go, no, that's not me. But today in my life and the people that I have in my life and the willingness I have to take these issues to people in my life, I may go to one of my good friends or 2 or 3 and say, okay, this happened. This is what was said. This was my response. I know I was protecting and defending and denying to some extent because I know what that feels like in my body today. Will you help me sort it out? Because I felt very protective, right? So it's not about, it's going to go away and it's going to be easy. I tried to protect others at my expense. Absolutely. Absolutely. Me too, Nadia. Yes, absolutely. Super rigid with my food log. That it's a problem for me now. I'm told to only track 2 to 3 times a week. Hard to do and feel a loss of control. That's interesting, right? One of the ways to think about that, Courtney, is because I work so often with people who have weight loss surgery, and before the surgery, it's I just want to be healthy and have a better quality of life. But then after surgery, somehow all of a sudden they can't stand that they're not to a specific number or a specific size or a specific whatever, and the obsession goes there. What I believe that is just switching the addiction from this aspect of the disease to this aspect of the disease, because I'm still focused completely on weight, food, numbers, scale, whatever, and I'm not living my life fully. So I think the intention with the feedback you're getting about that is, you know what? If you're so obsessed with your recording, that's become your obsession now. That's become part of your addiction. So part of addiction is letting go of control, right? So it's like I'm going to keep track, but this isn't going to be where I put all my energy so that I don't have to deal and feel, right? Because we don't want to deal and feel. Okay, so the protection. So what are we protecting ourselves from? What are we protecting ourselves from? Anybody? Bueller? I know what I was protecting myself from. I was protecting myself. And I believe, as I was thinking about this topic, I was thinking about there's a simple level of explanation, and then there's a deeper level of explanation. And of course, I always like the deeper stuff. So It's the same with any um, uh, defense mechanism, right? You've probably heard and read about some defense mechanisms like sarcasm or um, passive aggressive or anger or the silent treatment, or there are a lot of defense mechanisms that people use, right? But they're all kind of the same thing. Defense mechanisms are all different forms of denial, really, because it's the avoidance of, underneath all defense mechanisms, whatever we do is an attempt not to feel. An attempt not to feel. And guess what it is we don't want to feel? We don't want to feel our shame. I'm protecting myself. And we can say, and sometimes we do want to protect ourselves from others, true, right? But really, we're protecting ourselves from our own feelings about ourselves. Because if you think about it, maybe I don't want to feel fear, so I'm not going to look at how out of control my eating is. Maybe I don't want to feel disgust about myself, so I'm not going to look at how much I'm actually eating. Maybe I don't want to feel loneliness, so I'm going to pretend I have all these friends, and even though maybe all I have is acquaintances, whatever it is. Or I'm going to pretend that I only responded this way because you said this to me first, right? I don't want to feel shame is the bottom line of everything. But it could be fear, it could be sadness, it could be, we don't want to feel. We don't want to feel, so we protect ourselves. And all the defense mechanisms that you can read about are different ways of preventing ourselves feeling our own feelings about ourselves. I have come to experience and believe this with my whole heart. And if you really think about this on a deeper and deeper level, you can see how it's very true. Let me look at some of these. I don't food log, report food, because I always lied. Interesting. Very good, Terry. So if you're honest, you're giving yourself permission to heal from it. Both are obsessive behaviors, right? And anytime we obsess on something, we're not living fully because we're focusing in, zooming in on this thing, so I don't have to deal with this going on over here. I don't have to deal with that going on over there, and I don't have to deal with this going on in here, this being my feelings. All right, that's where I'm at, focused on my weight and losing. I'm ashamed of myself sometimes to even socialize. Absolutely. That makes perfect sense. So if I zero in on this weight, then I don't have to talk about I feel ashamed to socialize, or I feel embarrassed, or I feel whatever it is. Being made fun of my weight. That's a horrible, horrible thing, right? It's a horrible, horrible thing. There's no way to justify or excuse anybody's behavior for making fun of people. What I'm curious about, Dawn and the rest of us, are the ways we criticize ourselves for our weight, because what other people say or do, we don't have any control over. It's going to hurt. But what we say or do to ourselves, we do have influence over, right? So the majority, this is just my belief and my experience, the majority of the cruel and critical things being said to us and done to us and being treated badly are us doing it to us at this stage of life. So I would encourage you to look at how you're treating yourself poorly and how that just increases the shame. And as the shame increases, so do the negative thoughts and the negative feelings and the negative behaviors. And it's a really vicious cycle. All right, I think I just isolate. Yes, isolate is a protection too. So when you isolate, one of the things you can do is say, what am I afraid of? If I go out, what am I afraid of? Am I afraid of people looking at me? Maybe, But are you more afraid of how you're looking at yourself and thinking about what you think other people are thinking about you? So quit looking out here at what other people do, say, don't do, do, say. Look what's going on in here. Look what's going on in here. Because this is where the change needs to happen. It's what you're thinking about yourself. It's how you're feeling about yourself. Because how you're thinking and feeling about yourself is going to determine how you behave towards yourself and toward others and toward food. It's just the way it is. Yeah, quit looking out there. Look in here. All right, weight loss surgery is great while you lose, but the emotional aspect after weight gain is hell. I don't think people understand. It is not the easy. No, absolutely, people don't understand. But there's a lot more education being done, just like you're stating that, which is true. So anybody reading that is going to go, oh my gosh. Or yes, I've experienced that too, and I'm sharing that in other groups. And that's how the education happens, right? The scale controls me, the guilt and the pride. Well, okay, is that how you want to live? Probably not. So you could start with the thought, is this how I want to live? And if not, don't get on the scale. If you don't get on the scale, it can't control your feelings, right? That's scary, right? Well, what do you want? Do you want to be controlled by the scale, or do you want to start dealing with what's going on in here, that the protection that comes from staying focused on that? Ooh, what a thought, right? Think about this. You're staying focused on the misery that comes from living in the control of the scale, and yet you keep getting on the scale. So that says to me, that misery is serving a purpose for you, just like denial does. You're choosing to stay in that misery rather than figure out how you're going to feel if you don't go there. Don't put yourself in that situation, and whatever you're hiding from will surface and expose itself. Then you can deal with whatever that is and move on toward a healthier life. Okay, protection, protection, protection. Right. We've been trained to protect ourselves. So work with a therapist, a sponsor, a friend, and just start owning it. I felt defensive at this place. I was sarcastic toward that person so they would leave me alone and back off. I became angry toward that person because I knew it would shut them down. Or I used tears with that person because I knew they would back off. It was my way of controlling the situation and protecting myself. Then the friend says, what were you protecting yourself from? My shame, my fear, my anger toward myself, my whatever. So get out of looking at what others do or don't do or say or think, or you think they think, and get focusing on how you feel and what you think, because that's the only way you're going to heal. The only way you're going to heal. Hi, guys. Let's see. I am my worst critic. Of course you are. We all are. We all are. And the sooner we stop engaging in that behavior, the sooner we'll heal. Now, if we're not willing to give up that self-critical talk, then I got to say, what is it about that you're enjoying? What do you mean? What am I enjoying? I don't enjoy that. It doesn't serve any purpose. Oh, yes, it does. Because if it didn't serve a purpose, you'd let it go. So it keeps me in that icky, dark place because I'm too afraid of looking at what I might find elsewhere. So one of the questions you can always ask yourself is, what purpose does this serve? Your immediate response is often going to be denial. It doesn't serve a purpose. Oh, yes, it does. Or you wouldn't continue to engage in it. Why do you feel the need to keep beating yourself up? Because if I start praising myself and reminding myself that I'm a worthwhile human being, then I might have to behave like an adult. I may have to face some things I didn't want to face. I may have to take on some responsibilities that I don't know if I really want to take on. I may actually have to give up sugar. I don't know that I want to do it. And on and on and on and on and on. So if you get honest with yourself and you look at what these unhealthy behaviors, how they're serving you, how they're protecting you, how you have denial around yourself in regard to those things, then you can start to heal. But our denial protects us. It's the onion. Inside the very core is that little you who is vulnerable and precious and shaped like a little heart in there. See the little heart with my fingers? Right? And it gets piled up on top of with layers of denial and protection because you're afraid, because you've been hurt. But only by shedding those layers can you get to that genuine, authentic self. All right, sadly, I say and do things to myself that I would never let someone do or say to a family member. Absolutely, knock it off. Knock it off. It's not that easy. Of course it's not. How much effort are you putting into it? I hate mirrors. Well, Dawn, quit hating them. Look yourself in the mirror, look yourself in the eye and say, you are a worthwhile person. Because a lot of times what I continue to see on Facebook posts and everywhere else, is how freaking hard it is. Yes, it's hard. Okay, well established. It's hard. Nobody's going to deny that. Nobody's going to sugarcoat that. Nobody's going to say, what are you talking about? It's not hard. Of course it's hard, right? But staying stuck in this by continually, saying, and you didn't say this, nobody said this, I hate myself. I hate myself. Keep saying it, and you're going to continue to stay stuck. Versus, I'm willing to learn to love myself. I'm willing to say nice things to myself. I'm willing to look in the mirror and say something kind to myself. Are you going to continue to hate mirrors? Or are you going to put some effort into moving forward? I made it to my weight goal. I still have issues and thoughts about gaining weight back. Well, guess what? You're going to gain weight back because that's what you're thinking about. Remember, our mind, we move in the direction of our most dominant thought. So if your most dominant thought is fearing weight gain, fearing weight gain, fearing weight gain, fearing weight gain, you're going to move right toward weight gain. If your most dominant thought is, I choose health, 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 then you're going to choose health. It's a scientific proven fact. We move in the direction of our most dominant thought. I love mirrors. I love mirrors. I love mirrors. I love looking at me and saying nice things. That's an option, right? Okay. I am beginning to love a mirror. Bravo! I'm my own worst enemy. Absolutely. Knock it off. Start being your own freaking best friend. Right? We are all our own worst enemies. That is absolutely the truth. I am my own worst enemy. In the exact same ways you guys are. It's through my thoughts. I may not be having the same kind of thoughts because I no longer hate a mirror. I no longer hate myself, But the ways I get myself in trouble are going, I hate this dark office, not where I'm at right now, but in the office I work in Augusta, I hate this office. I hate this office. Can't stand this office. I got to get out of this office. But then what I do to myself is I go, is that how you're going to think? Is that how you want to spend the rest of your day thinking? Because the longer you think like that, the more miserable you're going to be. But I'm aware that I am my own worst enemy. But when I'm aware of it, I got to put the effort into knocking that crap off. So let's try to say, I'm working toward being my own best friend. I'm working toward being my own best friend. I'm working toward being my own best friend. All right. Discipline. My brain shut down when I'm trying to process. Well, if your brain shuts down, then get out a piece of paper and say, okay, brain, you're shutting down. What's that about? What is it you don't want to feel? What don't you want to think about? So ask yourself the hard questions. Just ask yourself and remind yourself, I'm an adult. I'm an adult. Adults deal, adults feel. I am an adult. I can feel, I can deal. It's not easy, but I can do it. Susan Ann, do you mean you're being your own best friend? I am so glad to hear it. Even when you lose, you still see yourself as overweight. True. How about seeing yourself as a human being and not an overweight person? How about seeing yourself as kind? How about seeing yourself as blue-eyed? How about seeing yourself as enthusiastic? How about it? What are you holding on to it for? What are you holding on to it for, friends? I have the hardest time getting to this group. I'm sorry it took me so long. So glad you're joining us. You put effort into being here. Thank you. How do you know when it's what inside comes to the surface, or what it is that's the issue? That's a good question. You don't have to know, Tina. Ask yourself two things. How am I feeling? How am I feeling? If you can get to the point where you're aware of how you feel. How am I feeling? I'm feeling mad. I'm feeling lonely. I'm feeling discouraged. I'm feeling imprisoned. If you can answer the question, how am I feeling? Then you say, well, all right, it's three questions. How am I feeling? What does this feeling tell me? Because our feelings are the thing that will tell us what we need. So the first question is, how am I feeling? The second question is, what do I need emotionally? What is this feeling telling me I need emotionally? So if I'm feeling imprisoned for whatever reason, whatever that might mean to you, what do I need emotionally? I need some freedom. What would be a healthy way for me to get that freedom I feel like I'm needing? So maybe I'm feeling imprisoned because I'm keeping some thoughts to myself that I need to share with somebody. And my way to feel free would be to kindly share my truth. Then I'm free, right? Let's say I'm feeling overwhelmed. What's this telling me I need emotionally? I need some comfort. What would be a way for me to get some comfort in this situation? Well, I would find comfort by writing down all the things that I need to do and prioritizing them. So if you can ask those three questions, how am I feeling? What is this feeling telling me I need? What are some healthy options for getting this met? Okay. Choosing to punish ourselves. It's easy to punish ourselves, eat and stuff our feelings. Very true. What purpose does that serve you? I still go to larger size clothing at a store. Habit, right? Denial is not a river in Egypt. It certainly is not a river in Egypt. It is a protection mechanism that is no longer serving you if you are going to choose to be free from addiction and living as a healthy adult. Maybe the scale is my means of control, and the item I answer to and am honest with. Maybe so. Maybe so. So if that's true for you, in what ways does that keep you from living free from your addiction? And what do you need to do about it? I made it to my weight loss goal. I still have issues about gaining weight back. I find myself getting angry when my needs don't get met. I find myself getting angry when my needs don't get met. Might translate to, I want what I want when I want it. My expectations are that you and the weather and the traffic and the co-workers and the children and the spouse and the in-laws do what I want when I want it and meet my expectations. That's all I'm going to say about that. Just remember that the motto of an addict is I want what I want when I want it. My little girl brat comes out when I least expect it. When your little girl brat comes out, ask her what she wants. Honey, what are you trying to tell me? Because she has all the answers. No one said it. Maybe because it's denial. Absolutely. I no longer apologize because I exist. Bum, 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 bum. That's awesome. How do you change the thought pattern? By changing it. By literally changing it. You have to be aware that it's not serving you well, right? So awareness is the first step of change. I hate myself. Is that what I want to think? I appreciate myself for the following 3 reasons. That's how you change it. Or, oh, I'm such a piece of crap. Is that how I want to talk to myself? I'm a valuable human being for the following 3 reasons. You literally change it. I like to look in the mirror, put on makeup, and getting pretty. Love that. Changing the negative words with positive, encouraging words so that the positive truths are bigger and stronger, dominate. It's made a big difference for me. That is beautiful, and I am grateful and joyful. I'm grateful to hear you say that because that's how it's done. It's just repetition, repetition, repetition. If you Google positive affirmations and read about the absolute power of positive affirmations and start practicing ones, that's how you change your thought patterns, by literally changing them. All right. That must be the fun part. I love you, Terry. That's right. Just damn do it. My dad used to tell me that, and I never understood it. That's what I wonder. You wonder what? How to change it? I'm backing up to Pina. How do you change the thought pattern? You literally have to change it. So you might have to write down some of these stinking thinking thoughts, right? Like literally write them down today. Like maybe at the end of the day, you could be like, what are some negative things I said about myself today? Oh yeah, when I was in line and I forgot to get the staples for the office, I said to myself, oh, you're so stupid. Write it down. Or you were, you dropped the milk on the floor. Oh, I can't believe I did that. What a klutz. So you become aware of the things that you said to yourself that were negative, and then you literally change it. And if you go onto my website and you go to the patient page, I have free handouts that literally will walk you through changing some of those negative statements to things like, you know what? Forgetting the staples says nothing about my person. I'm busy. I'll run back and get them. Spilling the milk does not mean I'm a klutz. It means I dropped the milk, right? So you literally change them. Okay. It takes effort, and it takes consistent effort, and it takes a really long time. No more stinking thinking. I am positive Patty. You go, girl. Oh, fun. So good to see you guys. I'm working toward being my own best friend. You go, Nadia. Yes, you are, girlfriend, because you seriously are awesome. No freaking windows. A freaking men bunny. Ooh. What don't I want to feel? I need to write that down. I am an adult. I can feel and I can deal. Darn right you can. Okay, guys. I'm frozen. Well, piss. And I'm missing it. Okay, you can go back and watch it. Okay, guys. So here's what I got to do. I got to end right now. But what I want to say is, have you gone to my website? Have you seen that you can enter for a chance to have a free, um, a free, the hell am I having? I'm having not a workshop, but a retreat here in a few weeks, 5 days, 8 women. You can register, and somebody's going to get to come for free, and it's going to be super awesome. And I can't wait. I have to go take a test this weekend. You're welcome. Thank you all for being here. Retreat. Thank you, Sarah. I'm going to have a retreat, and it's going to be very cool. I can't even tell you how cool it's going to be and how excited I am about this. And I'm going to wish that's all I had to do for my work, because it's so awesome and there's so much healing that takes place. So I really look forward to that. And this weekend, I'm going to Oregon. I have to take a test because I'm becoming licensed in Oregon. And next weekend, one of my BFFs and her daughter and 2 grandkids are coming to play with me. And the weekend after that is the retreat. So today is the 8th. There are 4 more days to sign up for the retreat. Please let people know. Are you sharing things that you see on my Facebook page, other people's Facebook page, these videos? Are you sharing this so we can have a healthier world? You guys are awesome. I was very firm tonight, also very fair, because if we want to change and grow, we have to change, and then we'll grow. Your health, your responsibility, this day, every day, just like mine is mine, right? All right, guys, I appreciate your friendship, and I appreciate you joining me to work on you and helping me work on me. See you tomorrow. Good night.